September the 26th, 2019. As you're looking at the National Weather Center map, and in the top left corner, you guys are about to feel one of the first impacts, and an early impact, and it's going to be a historical impact for the time of year of what grand solar minimum is all about. In the summer, we have weather chaos because of what's going on with our shields are weak, the oceans are heating, wind currents and wind patterns are different. We see that flooding, drought, everything's changed. But in this map, and this is going to start tomorrow, so pay very close attention to it from now to then, because the temps are going to be dropping. You're going to be looking at up to 3 feet of snow in some areas, as this is September. And I know that in the northeast, especially upper elevations, you get snow early. But this one, they're saying, is going to be a record breaker, so pay attention. What you got, if you look into the top left again, are your winter storm watches, which are in this blue-gray right there, and then your winter storm warnings, which are in the pink in this area. And then you've got marine warnings on the lakes and any water bodies in that area. Also, because of the wind is starting to pick up, you've got red flag warnings because of lower humidity, high wind, very dry conditions. And again, you've got gale warnings on the Great Lakes, guys. The other thing on the map, which is unusual for this time of the year, is you've got flash flood watches and warnings through this part of California and Arizona. Phoenix has been getting heavy rains, and that's feeding up from the Atlantic Ocean, from the hurricanes and the different low pressure systems we're seeing there. But I'm going to read some of this to you. Now, this is coming out of AccuWeather this afternoon. It says the first blizzard of the season to wallop the northern U.S. with up to 3 feet of snow. Parts of the Northwest and southern Canada are bracing for a potentially historic snowstorm that will unleash heavy snow, fierce winds, and record cold, and meteorologists say the timing of the storm will add to the dangers. Hazardous travel conditions and power outages will result as blizzard conditions will unfold in some areas, according to the AccuWeather meteorologists. That's here's one of the great dangers. People that are traveling that have not paid close attention or not heeding the warnings and get trapped in their car in the snow and ice. And you can get trapped in that much snow, guys, for long enough to have serious problems. It says on Wednesday, the National Weather Service, NWS, in Missoula, Montana, warned that the storm has the potential to be historic due to its occurrence so early in the season. Grand solar minimum. Not solar minimum, grand solar minimum. Says life-threatening conditions in the backcountry and damaging winds were among the dangers. AccuWeather spoke with Rebecca Connors, Public Information Officer for the City of Helena Public Works, in anticipation of the early snowstorm. And Montana, and this is kind of the characteristic of Montana, freak snowstorms. Our seasons are short except for winter, Connors told AccuWeather. And guys, if you think about this spring and into the summer, how long the snow lasted in some of the upper elevations, and it's going to start early. So you've got to pay attention to this. This is just as deadly as a hurricane if you're trapped or your power goes out, things like that. You can't get food and water. So what you got to do now is be prepared with everything you can do. Extra fuel, extra firewood, extra food and water. Think about it. But it's, again, here's the map, Friday through Sunday. That's tomorrow. But you can already see these watches and warnings are out. Montana crews are gearing up for the disruptive snowfall and preparing for the challenges an early season storm presents. We have to build up our snowplow trucks. We're starting that today. That was yesterday afternoon into the weekend. It is a little bit earlier than typical, but not uncommon. Our snow policy strategy is that we'll get the emergency snow routes done first and then go on to the rest of our priority routes and make sure that everything is sanded and cleared as appropriate to make travel safe. Guys, they won't be able to get to every place in this kind of snow. They're saying not only just the higher elevations, but because of the intensity of the cold air and the wind, some of the valleys also could see some snow. Guys, don't overlook this section. It says as the storm evolves, temps may plummet 50 degrees or more in some locations. Those in the high country and intermediate elevations will be at risk for becoming stranded and could be in life-threatening situation for a few days during and after the storm, with below freezing temperatures predicted. In Glacier National Park, a weather pattern change has already begun ahead of the heavy snow expected to arrive later this week. It says the Great Falls office tweeted that it was 25 degrees Fahrenheit at Logan Pass in the park this morning at 9:25 a.m. The national park announced temporary closures on Thursday due to the impending storm, and camping not advised signs have been placed in St. Mary Campground, which will remain open. Guys, if you know someone that's planning to travel, or if you're planning to travel, talk to them, or you reconsider this, because not only will you put yourself at risk, your lives in danger, but you are putting people that may try to come rescue you in danger also, just like in a flood and a hurricane, and it will keep them from getting to other places. So just back off the travel and sit tight. Make sure you got plenty of food, water, and fuel to keep warm. Now, this is already what's happening. This is today at Logan Pass in Montana. The view from a webcam showed Logan Pass sits at an elevation of 6,600 feet and will be hit this weekend by a major snowstorm. You can already see it looks very cold and windy. It's not traveling weather now. What do you expect it's going to be soon? This evening and tomorrow through Sunday, remember? The combination of clinging snow, increasing winds, and leaves still on many of the trees will lead to large limbs coming down and power outages as the storm takes aim at Montana. A fireplace with a lot of firewood sure sounds good. Or wood burner. It's a very big concern here. We're just beginning to turn our colors so trees are fully loaded with foliage. It says that snow will have a huge impact and will likely cause downed trees and potentially plenty of damaging power outages. Winds are likely to average 15 to 25 miles an hour with gusts to 40 or 50. Stronger gusts and sustained winds are likely during the height of the storm over the mountains and through the passes. The combination of wind, snow, and other conditions are forecast to cause AccuWeather real field temps to dip below freezing and can approach 0 Fahrenheit in some locations. And over the high country, any rain to start will quickly change to snow late this week. Outside of the high country, the first part of the storm will be rain late this week to early in the weekend, but a change to snow is in store from north to south and to progressively lower elevations. That's what I was talking about. Travel conditions will deteriorate over the back roads and the high elevations first from Friday to early Saturday, but progress through the passes and then to roads at lower elevations as the storm continues later Saturday to Sunday. It's starting to go downhill now. It's going to continue. Travel is likely to be difficult with slush and snow likely along stretches of Canada Highway 1 and Interstates 15 and 94. You guys in that area pay very close attention to this. Now, let's take a look at this satellite image for a moment. In the northwest, top left corner of this video, you can see where this cold front behind this layer of clouds is beginning to push through. As it mixes and mingles, that's what they're talking about, the slush to the freezing rain, moving on into ice. You know the drill, guys, but it's going to be early and it's going to be severe. For the first storm to get 3 feet at this time of September, again, unprecedented. Now, also, you have Tropical Storm Karen right here. The models are still really mixed up. It's going to pull up, pull back, head this way, then may recurve again. I'll show you those. This is the remnants of Tropical Storm Jerry. Also, I want to point out before I put this into motion, I've been watching this. We got a low pressure system that's spinning right here. When it first started, it was really dry. But now, watch the video, you'll see what I'm talking about. Watch the animation of this. It's starting to pick up clouds in the outer bands, and they're trying to wrap near the circle. Now, I don't know what it's going to do. They haven't started talking about it, but it's moving into very warm waters and moving towards, and it looks like it will go over the southern tip of Florida. May not amount to much, but some wind and showers. We'll just keep an eye on it while it moves into the Gulf. Now, let me play this forward. Again, it's getting dark as the sun's setting from the east there. Again, there's your front. Notice this rotation right there. See that? It's starting to pick up, again, more clouds and more moisture. Again, Karen and the remnants, as it goes back to Jerry. And this is the spaghetti models for Karen. You see what it's doing right now, guys, is trying to pull north and northeast to the right. And everything's showing that it's going to get caught up in the high pressure system. It's going to settle above this and spin the storm back around. Some are showing that it will be, as it turns here, like the TABD, it will turn back into the Atlantic. See that? So they're kind of all over the place right now. It's not a strong storm. They're expecting it to become even weaker. It got very weak when it came south of San Juan through what I call the kill zone, through Hurricane Alley. Very weak at that point. Now, a couple things on this particular model. This is the U.S. Navy. Here's Karen. You're going to see it try to escape north, get trapped with some of this high pressure, move west, and then possibly try to escape back through another opening in the high pressure area. Now, for my friends in the UK, look in the top right corner of this. This is one of the low pressure systems. You've been seeing one after the other come up the east coast or recurve and end up on the other side of the ocean in the UK or in the European area. But notice that, again, it maintains its low pressure area, but notice how far apart the millibars of pressure are. Now, again, you've been taking up the brunt of a lot of these Atlantic storms, but I think you're going to be in real trouble with Lorenzo right here. So watch it, and again, notice the separation and how far apart these millibars are in this low pressure that you're going through now. Check this out. Here's Karen trying to get up under one of these, or out from under one of these high pressure systems. Now notice Lorenzo, guys, maintaining a lot of strength, still in the purple area below 980 millibars. But, and again, let me stop this, but look how tight these millibar lines of pressure are as it approaches. It doesn't spread out and become a weaker low system. Guys, at the time that we are going through the beginning of winter, and the start of it in our northwest, the UK is about to get blasted, and this is going to affect more than just the islands, guys. You watch it on the main coast of Europe. Now, also notice what we've been watching in these high pressure areas. You see the orange and the different colorations that indicate that, and then the darker blues indicate low pressure. This high that's starting to come in now from the northwest out of Canada. Look how high the pressure is in there. We haven't seen much like that this year, so there's going to be an extreme high pressure area over the central U.S. Now, this is October the 4th. This is the 26th, so we're still about 8 days out or so. But this will be a major steering factor. Now, on October the 6th, this is 2 days past the end of this model, the southeast is going to, the weather's going to change, and it's going to change for the better, because instead of the 90s, we're going to go into a week or so, guys, from Pensacola all the way up into central Mississippi. 80s and 60s at night instead of high 90s. That's a big difference. Fall's coming, but it's coming a little early. Now, will that be an indicator of winter across the nation? It very well could be. But guys, it's been a long video. You guys in the UK, keep an eye on Lorenzo, and I want to show you one more thing. if you missed this morning's video, something we've been waiting on for over a year, we've got the price of the electric pure water filters down. Go to BPEarthWatch.com at $159.96 shipped. They're going out in 2 days. They're not going to last long, guys. This is a great, it's probably the #1 water filter in the planet. Had a question this morning. It gets out 99.9% of most types of radiation, including uranium, not just bacteria and all. But I've got a video that's going to be up in a day or so with more details on that. And I will put a link to what this thing filters. But guys, again, most of you know what it is. $159.96 shipped. You're not going to beat that. It's a heads up. Be safe.